Orcas Public Library again, and I have some more stories for you. Stories about one of my favorite animals. What is it? What do you think it is? It's really big, and it might talk like this if it were talking to you. What do you think? What do you think? It's a bear. Yes, I have stories about bears today. And I have stories about being thankful because it's that time of year to be thankful and say thank you and thanks. And I'm really happy you're my friend or that you made me that special card and all those types of things. And it's also a good time to talk about stories because there's stories in my books. So I'll start reading the story. The first one is called Bear Says Thanks. And it's written by Karma Wilson and Jane Chapman. Jane must have illustrated it. And it was produced by Margaret K. McElderry Books. And so we'll say thank you for letting us read it today in quarantine. All right. Good job. It's the first time you said thank you. Me too. Let's see if we can do it more. All alone in his cave, Bear listens to the wind. He is bored. And he misses his friends. Oh, I bet that's happening to a lot of you. I could make a big dinner, a feast I could share, Bear says. But he looks through his cupboard, and the cupboard is bare. Oh, no. And then Mouse stops by with a huckleberry pie, and the bear says, what's the bear say? Thanks. Yes. Right. Bear says, thanks, goodness me, a delectable pie. But I've made nothing, he adds, with a sigh. Then they hear, hi-ho, and they both see Hare with a big batch of muffins at the door of the lair. Yum. Hare hurries in from the cold rushing wind, and the bear says, thanks. Of course, says Hare. Then he points to the door. Here comes Badger. He's got even more. That. Brr, says Badger. As he tromps inside, he sets down his pole and he smiles real wide. I'm back from a stroll at the old fishing hole, and the bear says, thanks. Then Gopher and Mole tunnel up from the ground. We have warm honey nuts. Let's pass them around. Oh, yum. I love that little mole right there. There's a flap and a flitter and a flurry in the den when in flutters Owl with a raven and wren. We have pears from the tree and herbs to brew tea. Oh, look at all of them. And the bear says, wait. Bear muddles and stutters, and he wears a big frown. Bear sighs, and he moans, and he plops himself down. You have brought yummy treats. You are so nice to share, but me, I have nothing. My cupboards our bear. Oh, no. Oh, he's feeling so bad. Mouse squeaks. Oh, don't fret. There's enough, dear bear. You don't need any food. You have stories to share. His friends hug him tight. It will be all right. And the bear says, thanks. They lay out their feast on a quilt on the ground, and the bear takes a seat while his friends gather round. Look at all of them. In a cave, in the woods, in a warm, bright lair, the friends feel grateful for their good friend bear. They pass around platters, they tweet, and they chitter. See all of them? And they all say thanks. That's right. Look at all of them. They're also thankful for each other's company. That's so good. So we had a bear, and we had stories, and we had thankfulness. That's right. But I've got another one of my bear stories that's a favorite. And this one's called Bear Has a Story to Tell. It's written by Phillip C and illustrated by Erin Stead. And it is produced by Roaring Brook Press. So we'll thank them for letting us read it in quarantine. Oh, you have to look at that bear. Isn't he sweet? It was almost winter, and Bear was getting sleepy. But first, Bear had a story to tell. Mouse, would you like to hear a story? Asked Bear with a yawn. I'm so sorry, Bear, said Mouse, but it's almost winter and I have many seeds to gather. There they are. So busy Mouse. Bear helped Mouse find seeds on the forest floor. And when they'd finished, Mouse said, "See you soon," and tunneled underground to wait for spring. Bear took slow, sleepy steps through the forest. Fallen leaves crunched under his feet. "Hello, Duck," said Bear, sitting down to rest his tired legs. "Would you like to hear a story?" "I'm sorry, Bear," said Duck, "but it's almost winter and I'm getting ready to fly south." "I will miss you, Duck," said Bear, and he raised a paw to check the direction of the wind. "I will miss you too," said Duck, and off he flew. The sun was heavy and hung low in the sky. Bear's eyelids were getting heavy too, and he counted colors to stay awake. 3 pink clouds and 2 red leaves and 1 green said Bear. "Would you like to hear a story?" "I am sorry, Bear," said Frog, "but it's almost winter, and I have to find a warm place to sleep." Bear dug a frog-sized hole between two evergreens, and then he tucked Frog in under a blanket of leaves and pine needles. "Thank you, Bear," said Frog. "I will see you in spring." I don't know if you can see that. Bear leaned against the old oak tree. He stretched and yawned and scratched at his belly. "I wonder if Mole is awake," he thought. "Mole! Are you there, Mole?" Mole was already asleep. "Good night, Mole," said Bear with a sigh. The first winter snowflakes began to fall. Many months had passed, and the sun returned. It melted the snow and woke the trees, and Bear rolled out onto the green grass. "It's spring," he said. "Now I can tell my story." But first Bear brought Mouse an acorn. Oh, can you see that? "Thank you, Bear," said Mouse. Mouse was hungry after a long winter. "Welcome home, Duck," called Bear. "You must be tired from your journey." Bear showed Duck a shady mud puddle he found. Bear placed Frog in the sunshine till he was warm and awake, and Frog opened one eye and then another. "Good morning," said Bear. Bear, Mouse, Duck, and Frog waited all day for Mole to wake up. Finally, Mole poked his nose out into the moonlight. "Mole," said Bear, "would you like to hear a story?" Bear gathered his friends. He sat up straight and he cleared his throat and he puffed out his chest, and with all of his friends listening, Bear could not remember his story. "It was such a good story," he said, hanging his head. "But winter is a very long time for a bear to remember." The friends sat together for a quiet moment. And then Mouse said, "Maybe your story is about a bear." And Duck said, "Maybe your story is about the busy time just before winter." "I think there should be other characters too," suggested Frog. "Like a mole," said Mole, "and a mouse, and a duck, and a frog." Bear sat up straight again, and he cleared his throat, puffed out his chest, began his story with, "It was almost winter, and Bear was getting sleepy." Does that sound like a story you've read before? Sounds a little familiar to me. Maybe we'll go in the beginning and take a look at it. I don't know. I just like the idea that all of them, they're with each other and they're telling stories with each other. And maybe if they're not even with each other, they're sort of together some way. There you go. I hope you like those stories about bears and about being thankful. Can I hear you say it just one more time? Can we practice just one more time? And you say, if somebody says, there you go, here is a gift, a really yummy slice of pumpkin pie, you would say, yes, that's right. You'd say, thank you. I know you would. Good for you. And maybe there's some stories you can tell too. Okay. And I think with that, we will just go and we'll see you next week. So again, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.